Hello, treasure hunters. You've got the management here, of course, and today we have an analysis on a previously solved hunt. I'm going to be going through Copper Dan's past treasure hunt, turning copper into gold, the magic box. I can't say this enough. This treasure hunt was already solved. It was done 5 years ago. I did this as an exercise to learn my own biases and how my brain works. I started out with the complete solve and then said, hey, what if I didn't know this? How would I solve it? Was there treasure at stake? No. Was the puzzle still fun? Yes. We talked to Copper Dan this week on There's Treasure Inside Edition podcast and got his take on what it was like to create a hunt. I wanted to go into some further detail on his treasure hunt for those of you that are interested so that you could see actually the hunt and what the puzzle was, and maybe even do the same exercise I did. We'll get into it, but I first want to go through a few things. I'll say it again. This hunt has already been solved. I had the puzzle and I had the answer in front of me the whole time. 2, I'm not going to claim to be a treasure hunting expert. There are some people that have been doing this for way longer than I have. They may claim to be an expert. I think the only experts on any particular hunt are the creators, but there are definitely tools and techniques that you can use to make yourself a better treasure hunter, which is what I'm trying to do in this exercise. It was mental training. As you'll see, I was not even close to the solve, which helped me understand my biases in the way that I do research and how I interpret things. But I did pick up on the majority of the clues. And lastly, I hope this is encouraging for everyone who is new to treasure hunting to understand that you might not know it all at first. You're probably not ever going to know it all, but buckle up, have fun, enjoy the ride. Here in a minute, I'm going to pause the video so that you can read the story and the poem. It's a bit long. It's 2 pages for the story, and then the poem is on its separate page. So I will go through all of those and talk about them separately, and then show you what clues that I pulled out, what I thought they meant, and kind of speed through my notes on how I would solve it, which I ultimately learned I'd have been way off. So if you want to go ahead and pause the video now, I will scroll through these. All right, so the first thing that stood out to me was the king. Is it a monarchy? Is it some sort of political stance? FartsMcGee, that seemed like a very unnatural spelling, likely an anagram. I interpreted the magic box as Pandora's box. Could turn copper into gold. That seemed weird. Is it a chemistry analogy? Copper being Cu29, gold Au79, the difference being the element 50 of 10. And then what's the anagram of that? Didn't come up with anything, mostly because it's wrong. Tried to iron out what states have the most trails. Take clues from the scenery clues and location clues. Is there, again, he mentions peasants in the story. Is there a social inequality stance happening here? You can read through the rest of it. Also, originally, when I read magic box that is turning copper into gold, I was like, all we gotta do is rob an AC unit and then we'll have all the gold in the world, right? Maybe have to do a few. Just kidding, I'm not robbing AC units. Next, we have the poem. And I did get quite a few of the clues in this, I will say. I just completely interpreted it wrong. So we have directional clues and some navigational clues and landmark clues. I tried to bucket them into these 3 categories so that I could compare them against each other. And then I started thinking about it as a whole picture, right? What states have a king county? What's the history of Pandora's box? The state with the highest number of hiking trails, states for granite production. Who were the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse? I may have gone a little bit too far left. And then I searched for some other things on Google. These are the exact searches that I went through. So, I'm just trying to show my thought process here. Again, it was very wrong. I'm not trying to say that I'm anywhere close to solving this, but I did enjoy the journey. Even though I didn't get to the destination, I did find out on recreation.gov that you can rent old decommissioned fire towers for camping purposes. That's pretty cool. So then this would have been the next step that I would have gone to, as I would have crossed the Kings County states with the Granite states and the top hiking states, and I would have come up with this fantastic Venn diagram that ultimately shows California would be the place that it is most likely to exist. Spoiler alert, it was wrong. It was in Duluth, Minnesota. So knowing that I was nowhere close based on my process, I just decided to abandon the exercise at this point because I'm a couple hours in, knowing I'm wrong. This is a message from Copper Dan that explains the storyline. And if you listen to the There's Treasure Inside Edition podcast, episode number 12, you will hear where I believe that I went wrong was interpreting too factually. The John Collins Black Book has a lot of history and lore built in with some personal anecdotes, whereas this is very much a fantastical tale of a kingdom and a princess, and I think I just took it a little bit too seriously, and that's my own bias. So here's the actual solve. The Great King points the way. Michigig anagrams to Gitchie Gummy, which is the Native American word for Lake Superior. Where one road ends, a new begins. Highway 35 turns into 61. Head towards danger along your quest is Castle Danger is a local clue. A fish of blue and a turn to set is for Bluefin Bay, and then turn on Highway 2. From here, a saw will take you there. Sawbill Trail was the name of one of the trails. Your creek soon crossed a bright spot to rest. You travel on, and then you take the Britton Peak trailhead and then climb up to Carlton Peak and watch out for switchbacks and not getting lost or onto a side trail. A lookout was once Fiery Wrath. There was a fire tower at Carlton Peak, but only the remains of the foundation are still there. Also at the peak are 2 geo-survey markers. Quickly down, 2 blazes lie within. That's the clue for that. One has a 1952, which matches the coin. You line up the coin with the geo marker, take 30 paces straight ahead, and then you will arrive at the rocky grave of a tale once forgotten, which was 2 rocks with a crevice between from the story. So there's really 3 pieces to this, right? You have the coin, you have the narrative, and the poem. The narrative were your high-level landmark clues, and then the poem was your more detailed navigational clues that kind of funneled down and led you ultimately to the fire tower foundation crevice when you put it all together. So that's all I have for you today. I encourage anyone who is watching to do this exercise with not only this treasure hunt, but other treasure hunts. If you're getting into treasure hunting because you just found out about There's Treasure Inside, there have been many large and small treasure hunts. Geocaching is a great example of small hunts. Forest Fen Hunt is a great example of a very large hunt. And there's all sizes in between. If you are looking for some cool stuff to support your treasure hunt, you can always check out the other videos on my channel. Don't forget to hit subscribe, thumbs up, write a comment. I do try to get back to everybody. Or you can check out my Gumroad at themanagementAT.gumroad.com, where I have all kinds of resources that can help you out. I just uploaded a transparent background file of the Appalachian Trail path, so you can overlay that over your digital maps and see if the trail matches what you're looking at. Don't forget to check out this week's episode of There's Treasure Inside Edition podcast. Episode 12, we had Copper Dan on speaking about what it's like to be a creator and his experiences in treasure hunting. That's all I got for you guys. Have a great day.